During the final years of the Xia Dynasty, an entire rescue team disappeared after entering a temple that rose from the Yellow River during a flood. Only one man returned. He spent the rest of his life terrified of the sound of running water. He claimed the temple beneath the river was not abandoned. Something inside it was still praying. More than 4,000 years ago, catastrophic floods devastated large regions of northern China. Entire villages vanished beneath the Yellow River overnight. Fields dissolved into mud. Roads disappeared beneath endless black water. But according to forgotten legends, the floods revealed something far more terrifying than destruction. During certain storms, villagers claimed an ancient stone temple could sometimes be seen emerging from the river itself, only partially visible, as if an enormous structure remained buried beneath the current, waiting. At first, most people believed the stories were superstition. Floods often uncovered ruins and tombs along the riverbanks. But then, the disappearances began. Boatmen crossing the river during heavy rain started vanishing without explanation. Entire fishing crews disappeared during nighttime storms. Sometimes empty boats drifted back downstream days later. No bodies, no blood, only wet footprints covering the decks, footprints that appeared far too large to belong to any human. Then came the bells. Travelers sleeping near the river during storms reported hearing temple bells echoing beneath the water after midnight. Slow, heavy, ancient, and according to witnesses, the bells always rang in groups of 7. One summer, during the height of the flooding, a Xia official named Wei arrived near the northern river settlements to oversee rescue operations. Wei was known as a practical man. He did not believe in river spirits or ghost stories. But after several rescue boats disappeared near the same section of the river, even his soldiers refused to continue searching after sunset. They claimed they had seen lanterns moving beneath the water, not floating above it, walking below it. On the 7th night of the flood, the temple appeared. Villagers first saw stone rooftops emerging from the river shortly before midnight. Massive black pillars slowly rose above the waterline. Then came the staircase, ancient stone steps leading downward into the river itself, and at the top of those stairs stood dozens of human figures holding dim lanterns beneath the rain, completely motionless, watching the shore in silence. Wei immediately organized a search party. Against the warnings of local villagers, he and 6 soldiers crossed the flooded river by boat before dawn. The closer they approached the temple, the quieter the world became. The rain weakened. The river stopped moving. Even the wind disappeared. According to Wei's later testimony, the silence around the temple felt unnatural, as if the entire river were holding its breath. The men climbed the stone staircase and entered the structure shortly before sunrise. Inside, they discovered enormous underground halls stretching far beneath the riverbed. Ancient bronze statues lined the corridors. Most depicted kneeling figures with their heads bowed toward the floor. Strange symbols covered the walls, and throughout the temple, water continuously dripped from the ceiling. But according to Wei, the most disturbing detail was the sound, praying. Soft human voices whispering somewhere deep inside the darkness below. Hundreds of them, repeating the same words over and over. One of the soldiers attempted to follow the voices deeper into the temple. Moments later, the screaming began. The sound echoed through the underground halls before suddenly stopping. When the others reached him, they found only his lantern floating in shallow black water. Then the bells rang again, this time from inside the temple. 7 slow bells echoing through the darkness beneath the river, and after the 7th bell, the statues moved. At first, Wei believed it was a trick of the lantern light, but every bronze statue inside the corridor had slowly turned toward them. Their heads no longer bowed, their empty faces now staring directly at the intruders. Then came the footsteps, Wet footsteps approaching from somewhere below the temple, slow, barefoot, dozens of them. The remaining soldiers panicked. Some fled toward the entrance, others disappeared deeper into the darkness while trying to escape. But the corridors no longer led the same direction. The temple itself seemed to change around them. Hallways stretched longer, doorways vanished, and the praying below grew louder with every passing minute. Wei later claimed he eventually reached the lowest chamber beneath the temple completely by accident. There, beneath the river itself, he discovered a massive underground sanctuary flooded with black water. Hundreds of pale figures knelt silently beneath the surface, still praying, still moving, as if they had never died. And standing at the center of them all was something enormous, a figure far taller than any human, covered in river mud and bronze ritual chains, its face hidden behind an ancient ceremonial mask. According to Wei, the kneeling figures were not praying to the river, they were praying to it. Wei was the only member of the rescue party who returned alive. Villagers found him wandering beside the flooded river 3 days later, barefoot and unable to speak. For years afterward, he reportedly refused to go near water. Even rain terrified him. And according to later accounts, he often woke screaming in the middle of the night after hearing temple bells in his dreams. 7 bells, always 7. The floods eventually ended. The temple disappeared beneath the Yellow River once again, but stories about it continued spreading across northern China for centuries afterward. Fishermen claimed they still heard bells beneath the water during violent storms. Travelers reported seeing stone staircases rising from the river during floods, and some villagers swore they saw lanterns moving beneath the current after midnight. Even today, certain remote settlements along the Yellow River refuse to approach floodwater after dark, because according to ancient superstition, if you ever hear temple bells ringing beneath the river during a storm, you must never follow the sound, because some temples were never built for the living.